Hello, so my name is Sheila Walsh and my background is in coaching psychology and organisational consultancy. I'm going to talk a little bit today about the idea of commuting and what I have seen during these times that I think is really valuable to consider in terms of returning to workplaces and working in person. So one of the things I think is really important is I'm based in Dublin. So a lot of my clients are Dublin based. I have clients all over Ireland and internationally. But when we are speaking about commuting in Dublin, what I've heard a lot of from a lot of different clients is that the saving of that time is allowing for the quality of their work and their experience of their well-being to be multiplied by 100. So I am hearing people talk about that 1 hour making the world a difference to the day. That 1 hour, instead of fighting through traffic and being impacted by all of the stress and the triggers that happen out in the world during traffic and traveling in cities, allows people to be more focused, more solution orientated, more responsive and less reactive. And I think this is something we can consider bringing into our next steps, bringing in to how are we going to work with the reality that commuting is having a negative impact on many people. And it's not about saying that's it, we all work remotely, because there are also costs to that, as we will have seen, such as a lack of connection, breakdowns in teams, performance. There can be an imbalance, but what we need to think about is how do we bring the awareness that's been raised during this time into improving the performance of our employees. And one of the solutions that I've been discussing with people and considering is the idea of working from home for those who wish to, a number of mornings or a number of days a week, and then having focused days of being in the office with the team. And I think that there's a couple of things here because we're all very different. Working from home is not just about not being in the office. For some people, it's about a better quality of work, because introverts, reflective people, they need the space to process the information without being interrupted. And equally, if we said everyone can stay at home, what we're going to miss out on is that collaborative brainstorming, in-person work that the extroverts feed from. So I just think that at this moment in time, we have an opportunity to think about what can we learn from this experience? What are the benefits we're able to take away, and how can we bring that forward? And I'd love for you to think about it in your own workplace. If you're a manager or a supervisor, or you coordinate anything, maybe stepping back and saying, okay, what can we learn from this experience? And how does commuting impact the quality of people's work and their well-being? A lot of people are saying an hour to work and an hour back. So that's 10 hours a week. That's 10 hours additional a week in a very stressful situation. So it's traffic and traveling is actually quite stimulating. And if you're going into work after already being quite stimulated, it can have an impact on how you regulate, how you co-regulate, how you manage stress, how you problem solve, how you brainstorm, how you innovate at work. So it's worth thinking about this beyond the preference to have us working together in person, which is okay to have, but to think about it in terms of how do we strike that really lovely balance where we get the most from people without bleeding them, without taking the most from them. How do we create the best outcomes? And really the starting point is to talk to your people. Talk to the people in your teams and ask them what works and what doesn't. Have some ground rules and some inside agreements about we're all here on this day, and this day. But think outside the box, because a lot of workplaces before COVID-19 happened said you couldn't work from home. It was impossible to do the job. Those people are working from home today. So let's think about it outside the box. I'm not saying that you can do all your work at home, and I'm not saying that it's the healthiest thing to do long term to always work at home. But let's think about what would happen if we prioritize some of the benefits we're learning about through this experience in our future ways of working. I'd love to hear any comments. Pop them to info@sheilawalsh.com. Thank you.